So Tyson, first off, you initially didn't want to transfer from Rice, and then making that decision to go in the transfer portal. What made Virginia Tech the right destination for you in that process?
Well, like I've said a couple times before, you know, how I look at the college football, like I want to honor my commitment, right? So the coaches, they spend, and this may be because I'm a coach's kid, but like I know coaches spend hours and hours and hours and tons of time recruiting and, you know, giving to this facility and giving to this team, right? And so I feel like it would be like a disrespect for me to like go through a whole recruiting process with a coach, go to the school, play for them, just to leave, right? So that's a lot of time and energy that they've invested in me, and that I've really invested in them too, and I don't want to waste that. And then I think, you know, not every situation is going to be perfect, and things aren't always going to work out for you. But I think that's where, you know, kind of the beauty of sports and competition comes in, right? Is that you fight for what you want,
yeah.
right? Fight for where you're at, and you know, do your best to make it work. I'm a big Michael Jordan fan. So like he won with the Bulls before the Bulls were even good. Like when he got there, they weren't anything. But you know, there's obviously other guys that were on the team that, you know, helped make that possible. But yeah, so our coaches got fired. My head coach got fired in the middle of last season. My DC ended up taking a job at Temple. He was also my position coach too. And then a lot of the guys that I had played with the past 2 years at Rice, I was there for 3 years, but I really played my last 2 years there. And all the guys that I was on the field with, or the majority of them at least, they had like graduated, and so it felt different at Rice. And really, when I was really nervous to get in the portal, because you never know. You never know when you get in. And so I think I'm really blessed that Coach Abel, the new head coach that came in, he did a great job of still recruiting me. Him and Coach K, the linebackers coach, who's actually the DC there now. I think the way they handled that, I feel so blessed to have them, because they let me get in the portal, because I just wanted to see what was best for me, right? It's not like, okay, I'm getting in the portal and I want to get away from Rice. And so I respect Coach Abel and Coach K so much for working with me and allowing me to do that, because for a while I was still probably just going to come back to Rice, because I'd been there for so long, and I love the guys there, and I miss those guys. You know, also my goal is to play big time college football, right? You dream of playing in front of a crowd like Tech has here, and I'm excited for that too. And I think a story that I've told a couple times is the authenticity of Coach Pilo and Coach Pry and Coach Goove. And when I was on my visit, I was loving it and falling in love with the place. But that's what visits are designed to make you feel. And so Coach Pry was like, "Yeah, Tyson, you know, how'd you like the visit? How was it going?" And I was like, "Coach, I loved it. And if I had to commit right now, I'd probably be committing here." But I was like, I want to take some time to think it over with my family and make sure that this is the best spot for us. And he was like, "Well, Tyson, even if you wanted to commit right now, I wouldn't let you. I would make you go home and talk it over with your parents." And maybe he used some reverse psychology there to that just made me have even more respect for him, and of course the opportunity to come in and play here was very appealing. And in January I packed up my stuff and landed in Blacksburg.
So you talk about that visit, Coach Pry, Coach Pilo, Coach Goove, no defensive coordinator. What does that process look like? What does that faith leap look like to go and do that when you don't really know the system you're going to be playing in?
Well, part of it is like in almost every system, you're going to have your version of cover 4, your version of cover 1, and cover 2, and cover 3, right? You're going to have your pressures, and it looks different in every system, right? But every system, as a safety, I'm gonna end up playing the half field. I'm gonna end up rolling down and playing some low zones. I'm gonna blitz here and there. I'm gonna play the post, and so every defense is going to have some version of that, but other than that, I think it's with the timing of me getting here and Coach Chiefkas coming in. That's an answered prayer. I have no idea how that happened, but it's been such a blessing to have him and play in a system that I feel like plays to all my strengths. And I just think that goes to show, you know, the faithfulness of the Lord, and, you know, me putting my trust in Him and saying, hey, VT doesn't have a coordinator right now, but this feels like home. This feels like where I'm supposed to be. I feel like you're leading me here, and so I'm going to trust you, even though I don't see the outcome. And I think that's the beauty of, you know, how God loves and how He shows His faithfulness to us.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Well, before we shift forward, going back to the G5 ranks, a lot of people know smaller schools, but they're still elite players. What is something maybe fans don't see when you go from the G5 ranks in those schools?
I think we have I think it's hard, especially with the portal nowadays. You can get great athletes at any school, really. And I think that's how it is at Rice. Like, we even have a corner that I played with. He was there the whole time I was there. He's in the UFL now with the Brahmas, and I feel like he's going to get picked up soon because he just played like the last 2 games with them. I think his first game he had a ton of PBUs, a ton of. He had a huge hit in the second game he played. He was like an ESPN Impact player in like the second game he played for the team. But he's like a freak athlete. And I think what's special about him is he's a freak athlete. He's super fast, can jump. But he's like a film junkie too. Yeah. He's in the film room all the time. And I think that's what really kind of makes elite players is when they're super athletic, but they're also work hard and are smart too. And so we had guys like him. We had Gabe Taylor. He's a safety at Rice. He's training. I think he just got done with minicamp with the Redskins, or the Commanders now. And then we had an outside backer who signed with the Rams. We have a running back from last year who went to Houston. Yeah. And so like there's guys at that level that can of course play here, but I think it's just a collective difference. Yeah. That it probably is.
You talk about the IQ being in the film room. Coach Pry, Coach Pilo, very complimentary of you being a high IQ player and your time being here. What does that look like? Is that the film study? Is that pre-snap making calls to the younger guys? What does that look like for you, being a coach's kid?
I think part of it is a coach's kid. And, you know, seeing my mom and dad come home and, you know, understanding what frustrates them from their players, or what they like in some players, or, you know, seeing my dad come home and when we were younger, we had an office in our house, and I still don't know how we did it, but we like put something like on the walls or something to where it made it like a dry erase like wall. And so you just walk into the office and it just plays all over the place. And he comes home every day and watches tape. He actually just got back into coaching, so he's been on his grind again too. But I also believe something my mom told me, I can't remember the context of it, but she told me that like you make time for what's important to you. Like whether you realize it or not, like you might spend 2 hours on your phone and not even realize it. And you know what that means is that your phone or TikTok or whatever, Instagram, is really important to you, right? Though you may not say that, you may not think that it is, but like what your actions are showing, that shows it. And so I try to, you know, plan out my time and make sure I'm spending my time learning football and understanding the game. You know, understanding all aspects of our defense, right? Because if I know what my linebackers doing, my corners doing, then that makes me understand where I fit in the bigger picture, right? And then that's where I feel like you can start making plays or stealing picks or you know, being a better safety.
So let's say this: we're in the safeties room. I toss you the remote. I say, put on one play from your experience playing. Put it on, and that sort of personifies you as a player. What's the one play you put on the screen?
That's a good question. There's a lot of fun games. The Navy game was really fun. We had a lot of weather delays that game.
Too many options.
There's a lot of options. Okay, I'll go. Sorry, I'm taking forever. I'll go with when we played UConn, I believe. It was Memphis. It was Memphis, I think. Anyways, me and Sean had been like talking all week. Sean was one of our corners, and we used to watch film together too. And we had been watching. We knew they liked these curl routes. And Sean is in man coverage. I'm in the post. It's like third down, I think. I'm pretty sure it's third down on the first. It was one of the first drives of the game. And Sean gets a pick on the first drive of the game. And it's something that like we had talked about, we had known was coming. I don't think he had gotten a pick yet that year. And so we were just like, dude, your play's coming, your play's coming. And he gets that pick, and the whole defense just runs to the back of the end zone at an away game. And just the excitement that the whole defense had, that's one of my favorite memories.
It's just the preparation that goes into it. Obviously, means so much more from someone looking on the outside. So now shifting forward, either in winter workouts or hunger drills or in spring, was there a moment, play, install that you're like, okay, I've arrived, I can play at this level?
I don't know if there was just one play or one install that gave me that confidence. I think as a competitor, you always think like I can play at any level, anytime. But I think just as the winter workouts started, right, and you get to work out with people, and you get to lift with the new guys, and like you said, do hunger drills with the new guys. I think you more look at it as, oh, this is like fun. I get to I'm building a relationship with these new guys on this new team, and you just feel together. And then at that point, you're not even thinking about like what level you're at. You're just like, these are my guys, and we're playing ball. So.
You talk about the new defensive coordinator getting installed to that new scheme. What has been the biggest mental adjustment? I mean, football is football at the end of the day. You talk about coverages. Is it pre-snap? Is it verbiage? What's been your biggest adjustment?
I think the biggest thing with learning any new defense is we kind of talk about like it's learning a new language, right? You're going to know how to play cover 4. You're going to know how to play the curl flat. You're going to know how to play the quarter flat. You're going to know how to play the post, right? But in different schemes, there's different there's different key points. I want you to focus on this rather than that. They call, in your one defense, you might call something flash. You're like, okay, flash here, that means whatever it does, X. That means this in my old defense. And so it's just kind of learning a new defense or learning a new language, and like putting old terms with new terms and understanding like how they mean the same thing.
Talk about Coach Sifkis as a teacher. I know he's had y'all take the mental test where it shows what kind of learner you are. I know he's gone and done a lot of different things, like even preparing different installs so you can listen to it throughout the day. So we're talking about how he just leads as a leader and then teaches that down.
I think he's a teacher of the game. And even more, like he has us take that learning test to see how each of us best learn. He comes up in front of us and he puts on the whiteboard how to take notes. Like, what's the best way for you guys to take notes, and what's going to be the most effective way for you to retain the information we're talking about. And so he attacks every single part of the game in order to give us everything he possibly can. And that's something he preaches too. It's like as my job as a coach is to make sure you have everything you possibly can to learn and grow. It's your job to take the coaching. And so he has pre-recorded installs, coverages. Him and all the coaches, they record videos and walk through different techniques and basically everything we need to know. And not even that, just his knowledge about like football itself, like different situations. We go over every situation so that whenever it comes up in a game, because inevitably throughout the season, different situations are going to come up throughout the year. And if you're not prepared for it and have never talked about it, like that can lose you games. And he has gone in depth about teaching that to us and showing us examples of that to make sure that we understand all the aspects of the game.
Yeah, I mean, those situational packages are big. Shifting forward, you've obviously been in a couple defenses now at the collegiate level. Sifkis is coming from the pro level, pro concept, what you've seen. What's been the biggest adjustment mentally, and is he bringing anything super cutting edge that you haven't seen coming down from the pro ranks? Like, what do you think about just overall the defense?
Yeah, so he's definitely brought in some new things, but Pry has also had he's a defensive coach, so he's had his hand in the defense since he's been here, and so I think I told someone this before. It's like a melting pot. It's like Coach Sifkis is coming in, 4 new safety transfers are coming in. We had some new linebacker transfers come in. Pry's always has some things that he likes to do. So it's like a melting pot of everything. And this spring it was kind of like building the foundations of what we're going to be. So it's just a lot of new stuff, which I think has been really fun. And we're starting to put some more stuff in now, which is making it even more fun for me. So. Yeah.
You talk about it being a defense really set up for safeties. What does Sifkis look for trait-wise and mentally-wise, specifically for safeties to thrive in this? Is it range, length, obviously athleticism, but sort of what do you see to thrive in this defense as safety?
The biggest thing that he's talked to me about is just keep asking questions, right? He emphasizes us understanding the defense and knowing what we're doing. No matter if it's me, if it's Q-Red, if it's IBM, if it's Christian Ellis, if it's Cash, Koval, like he emphasizes that we understand what's going on, and that's going to help us be successful in his defense, right? And not just what we're doing, but throughout the season, there's inevitably going to be injuries and position rooms here and there. We're going to need depth. I can't play 80 snaps a game every game. Christian Ellis can't play 80 snaps a game every game, though I think he got pretty close last year, though. But so emphasizing that on everyone so that you can learn new positions to where, crap, someone's tired. I need to plug someone in here. So understanding not only your position that you're at right now, but the other safety spots, the linebacker spots, the nickel spots. Understanding all that to just give us more versatility.
Now you talk about the safety room specifically. 4 new transfers, a lot of young guys. Reddish still an underclassman, even though he played a lot. How have you taken that role by storm, even being a transfer? How do you lead? What's your role in the room if you are sort of taking that leadership role?
Yeah, I think they've got we have a lot of good things going on in that room, right? Q-Red he's like you said, he's an underclassman, but he doesn't play, he doesn't act, he doesn't think, he doesn't study like an underclassman. And so I've just kind of tried to come along those guys, right? And mesh with them well and join what they already have and do whatever I can to help elevate the room. And I think that's everyone's role, right? He's bringing in guys. Even we brought in another freshman that just got here this summer, Sheldon. Even when he got here, he's like, all of our roles when we get here is to elevate the room, increase the competition, because when we compete with each other like that, that's only going to make us better.
What's sort of the most important thing in the summer conditioning? Yeah, you mentioned the high school enrollees, other guys. What do you feel like the biggest thing to take out of this summer workout period into the fall camp is?
I think Coach Ferg, this is his first summer running the program, and he's making it very hard, and I think that's what a lot of the leaders on this team want. We know that, if it's hard now, it's going to be easier in the fall. And Coach Ferg tells us a lot, I'm preparing you guys to be able to play 2 or 3 games in one night. And so the focus right now is just, physically we're going to try to develop, and really on both sides of the ball where we have new coordinators. So we want to develop physically but also develop mentally and make sure we're understanding the playbook and understanding, football as well.
So that's player driven over the summer, a lot of it. What any player standing out specifically sort of driving that? How do you stay consistent on everyone? Hey, we got to go get our own work in right now outside of what Coach Ferg's doing.
Yeah. There's a lot of guys, right? As soon as I got here, I can tell guys like Caleb Woodson and KG and Burgos and JK, those are guys that are our leaders, and they're going to make sure that they're doing everything in their power to make sure that we as a team are ready to go.
Yeah.
And I admire that about them. I'm not coming in here to step on any toes or, say, no, I'm a leader. Those guys are leading great, and they lead by example, and they lead verbally, and I think that's rare. And so I think it's kind of my role to, step in and be a great follower, right? Great follower and follow them and lead when I can. And so I think that's kind of where my head's at with that. But some other guys, you obviously, you got Kyron's a leader on offense. Johnny's a leader for the offensive guys. But yeah, I think we've got very, very good leadership on the team.
What's the biggest thing on the field, off the field, that you're looking to work on this summer and into fall camp before the season?
I really look at the summer as this is the home stretch, right? So we're gonna go through the summer, and then when fall camp starts, it's football from here through December and, God willing, January.
Yeah.
And, this is the home stretch. I'm spending all the time I can to kind of, like I said before, just work on my game holistically, work on my skill, work on my speed, work on understanding the defense better, work on being a better teammate, and learning all my teammates and everything about them and spending time with them. Because I feel like the more time you spend around people, the closer you get with them, and the harder you're going to play for them in the fall. And so I feel like this summer is our last chance to get everything you can in, and try not to waste any time.
Okay, we talked a lot about football. What's been the most memorable thing since transferring to Blacksburg in the winter? Well, I guess the spring semester.
Yeah.
What's been the most memorable experience that you've gotten to do around the area just since then?
The big event was pretty cool. I didn't know I didn't know like it was that big of a thing, and not even for the football team, but for like the whole school, like that many people out there doing community service. I thought that was pretty cool. And then even I know, God willing, I have a while till my football career is over, but I know the things I'm going to miss the most are just being in the locker room with the guys after a run, or, you know, Coach Pilo takes us out to safety dinners sometime and just breaking bread and having food and hanging out with those guys. Like, that's what I'm pretty boring. Like, that's fun to me. Like, that's what I look forward to, and I think those are the memories I'll cherish the most.
That's awesome. Yeah. So a couple more. What does a successful season look like for you beyond just stats, the process, whatever that is for you in defining that?
I think winning is the only thing that matters. Like, the more games we win, the better the season for me. I kind of mentioned before, I like Michael Jordan. I didn't like Tom Brady growing up, but when I got to high school, I
had to respect.
Yeah, I have so much respect for that, and so really, like, the more games we win, the better. That's all I really care about. Obviously, I want to play in any role I can play, and that is bonus points. But as long as we win, I really don't care.
All right, I'll get you out of here on this because that was a little coach speaking. No coach speak. How do you get this defense back to that elite level from a player's lens? How do you get it there?
That's a good question, and that's probably one of the things I was really intrigued with. Like when I was coming here, it's like obviously I know of the lunch pail defense, Coach Foster, Coach Beamer, the legendary safety room, and DBs in general, and I feel like it's hard. I feel like it's hard to attack that and answer that. I feel like that's too big of a bite to kind of pull off. Is how do we become the best DB room in the nation and flip that around? I feel like we need to break it down. Okay, so what are we looking for? We're looking for guys that can cover, guys that can play ball, guys that are accountable, guys that are smart, right? And so now that's something I can develop, right? I know if I go work on my skill work, I go work on my one-on-ones, that's going to help me be a better DB. I know if I get with Ferg in the weight room, he's going to help get me stronger. He's going to help get me faster. If I go and ask for extra meetings with Coach Goove and Skywalker and Pilo and Coach Siefkes, and Coach Whitehead, like they're going to help me develop my mental game. And I feel like attacking those daily things and making sure I'm getting better at those things every single day, that's going to help me become a better DB. And now if IBM's doing that, IBM's a better DB. If Q-Red does that, he's a better DB. If Chris does that, he's a better DB. If Dante and T-Will, if they do that, they're a better DB. And now all of a sudden we're looking at, geez, we have an elite DB room because we have just a bunch of elite guys and we're all working together. I kind of see, like, that's how I kind of look at it.
Tyson, appreciate it, man.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much.
God bless.
Thank you.